Okay, perfect. My name's Alayne Wadsworth. I also go by Laney Lane, and I am a scoliosis advocate. So I was diagnosed at a young age, probably like, I think it was 12 in junior high. I put in a body brace for 5 years of my life and wearing that brace for 23 hours of the day. I'm also a ballroom dancer, and I was told that I wasn't allowed to be dancing anymore. And actually, I continued dancing because I just have that drive in me and that, like, you tell me not to do, and then I'm like, watch me do it. um, and then later I went to college for dancing. I had a scholarship. I loved it so much. I was on Dancing with the Stars. I did So You Think You Could Dance and a bunch of other shows. And then in college, probably my last year in college, I was just getting an update on how my spine was going. And it wasn't looking good. And they said I had about 3 more years until I was puncturing a lung. So that was an easy decision. Well, kind of an easy decision. Having surgery is never easy to do. And I had to have the procedure done. So I met with a wonderful doctor, and he ended up fusing T1, that's the top of your spine, down to L3. And I remember even that day, I still get a little emotional about it because it was something that's so big to me. I felt like something was taken away from me, and I knew that my life was not going to be the same afterwards. So anyways, we went into surgery. My doctor looked at me and he's like, well, you know that your career with dancing is going to change. Like, you're probably going to have to think of something else to do. He danced with me right before putting me under, which was so sweet. And then I woke up and I started a new journey. And I was very, very fortunate that I decided to continue dancing afterwards. It almost sounds crazy saying it out loud, but I had to learn how to walk, roll over, get dressed, everything all over again. And I was back on the dance floor within 6 months. And I became a world champion soon after that. So I continue to dance now. I continue to share my story with others, letting them know that, you know, just because you're not the same as you were before, you can still live that dream and you can still have that hope for a strong future, and just keep fighting, keep living.
Where did that, because I think it's like when we hear doctors or teachers or, you know, some person above us tell us like that something's not possible, a lot of people will just accept that as reality. Well, that sucks. You know, but you didn't do that. So I'm just wondering, where did that inner drive come from?
You know, that's a great question. I think I've always been pretty stubborn my entire life. Even if you ask my family, it's just, I'm always like, no, I am an independent person. I even, like, crazy, some people know this, some people don't. I do have an identical twin sister. She does not have scoliosis. She never went through any of this stuff, and she has a healthy life. Very, very lucky girl. And even us being the exact same, it was just like, you do not get to call me twin. I am Alayne, and that is Alicia. Like, we are 2 individuals. I think I've had also wonderful examples in my life who had that, like, thriving or fight in their life. And so they were like warriors to me. Like, I saw them as inspiring mentors that just kept pushing through life. And I kept actually having more and more people come into my life that either, like, fought cancer or fought through scoliosis or fought through something, like, so hard that, like, they had no control over, but yet they lived this amazing life of joy and happiness. And they kept introducing, like, they kept doing the things that they've always wanted to do. So nothing stopped them. And I really, that inspired me. And so I think that's just something that I saw and I observed from a distance. And then once I started going through the same thing or something similar, I knew that, you know, I had a choice. And I'm like, here I am. Here, I can either be the victim or the victor. And so I decided, well, I can kick and scream and have a hissy fit and cry my eyes out, or I just have to face the fact. This is my life. This is a lifestyle, but I get to choose how I feel and how I respond with it.
Yeah, that is get to be the victim or the victor. That can be said of I feel like every day in our lives we come up against, whether it be small or big things, we have that choice to make. And it's like our choices are so important in the direction that our lives move, in a mental space, especially. Now, you said you had worn that brace for 5 years, which is a very long time. Was the idea behind wearing that brace so that you wouldn't need to have surgery?
Yeah, we didn't know. I was at a 12-degree curvage, and I believe, and it might be different these days, but a 12-degree curvage is like, okay, now we have to really like get serious about thinking about what we need to do to prevent it from getting worse. There are people out there who have a worse degree curvage, or they have two curvages on both sides, on upper and lower. And so they ended up putting me in the brace because first it's the growing spurt of my life, and they wanted to prevent it from getting worse. But they didn't tell me like, okay, well, then if it doesn't get worse, then you don't have to have surgery. It was a matter of like, well, you're going to have surgery one day. And for now, we just wanted to slow it down as much as possible. I think this was where once I was told that, I knew that if I wanted to do something in my life, this was the time to start doing it. Like living in the now really set in at that point. And that's why and I'm like, ironically, like looking back now, I'm like, that's when I started dancing.
Yeah.
I found my escape. I had no idea, but that's what I was doing and all of that actually means I'm trying to survive. And so that's so ironic.
It is ironic that that's when you would start dancing, but like, had you not started at that time, you certainly wouldn't be where you are today, because you would have had to develop those skills then, and modify those skills. So that is really cool. And being so young, you were sort of very wise, I guess. At that age, you'd have to have a little bit of wisdom or internal wisdom to know, like, hey, I need to deal with this in a healthy way. Now, how old were you when you eventually had the surgery?
I was 26, 27, somewhere around there. I can't quite remember. Like, you lose track of how old you are.
Yeah.
I get it. Don't talk about it. We're always 23 again.
Exactly.
Yeah. I was a little bit older, so I knew that I had to have surgery, but I also knew that I had a time period to do what I really wanted to do in life. And I knew that I wanted to dance. I knew that I wanted to get a college degree, and I wanted that career before I had to give it up, per se.
Yeah, which you didn't give it up ultimately anyway, but you didn't know, what would be the case. Now, I think a lot of people may not be aware of, how scoliosis affects you down the line like that. So today, I guess, kind of bring us up to speed of where you are and how it continues to affect your life.
Yes, like I said, it is a lifestyle. A lot of people, excuse me, let me grab a drink really quick.
No problem.
Thank you. A lot of people tend to think that, okay, I have curvature of the spine, and after having surgery, I should be perfectly fine. And I'm willing to admit right here, like, I thought that having the surgery, I was going to create this incredible life. It's like I had pain of the curvage and the weakness and the fatigue of the muscles, but there is new pain after having surgery. And that is the pain that you can never get rid of. I don't take any narcotics. I'm actually allergic to all of them. So I've been able to challenge the brain and learn how to control that pain. A lot of times it's not easy to control, and then I realize that's it. I get to lay down on some ice. I get to call up my friends and say, hey, can I get a massage? Can we make this like an every other week thing to stay on top of relaxing the muscles? I visit with my doctors just to kind of keep up with everything. And Like I said, it's a lifestyle. I work out every single day, but it is not like this crazy workout stuff. Okay. I eat healthy. I drink my water. Um, I listen to my body, and I've learned what it is needing. And everybody's body is going to be different. And so that being the case, every day is a different exercise. So whether I feel like, oh, I feel really tight today, I maybe need to do some exercises like stretching. Or today I'm feeling a little bit more energized, I can move a little bit more. So I'll do my Pilates, or or I'll push my limits and do some aerial and see what
Mm-hmm.
this body is capable of doing. But I'm giving it its credit to what it deserves. And I'm also listening and in tune as to what it needs. So it's not a matter of just like fight, 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 and force it. It's a matter of like understanding it and then fine tuning it for that. So it's a lifestyle. At this moment, I still have pain 24/7. It does not change. It's not a surprise to me, and it's kind of weird to say this, but I am actually no longer afraid of pain because I
Hmm.
understand it. I
Hmm.
understand that this is me and this is a part of me. So now I'm accepting it and just I get to manage it, and that is okay. Recently, I just went through a surgery a couple months ago where my legs were just giving out. Like your body, I have a degenerative disc disease as well with the scoliosis. And so sooner or later, the discs will degenerate and start rubbing on top of each other, causing nerve damage, nerve pain. And so that is something that I'm dealing with right now. And I have a slight curvage in the last 30 vertebrae that are not fused in my back. So it's a little painful sometimes. So when I'm down or recovering, it hurts really bad. So I ended up seeing my doctor, my pain specialist. He's fantastic. And we decided that we wanted to run some tests with the nerves. So that's going in, deadening some nerves for a couple hours, seeing if it works. And if it works, then we cauterize it. So then we decided we were going to cauterize the whole entire nerve, which is the sciatic nerve, which is the longest, biggest
Mm.
nerve that goes down your leg. But it's been super helpful. And there are answers out there. There are answers than going in and fusing more of your spine. So I would strongly suggest everybody to find these answers, talk to people that have experienced it, and know that there are other things that you can do before having to go the last route of surgery. Because honestly, if I had the choice not to have the surgery, I would have never done it. That's
Hmm. Interesting. Well, it is just like every person is so different, every body is different. And that's why it's so important to, we like to say it's never a bad idea to get a second opinion,
yeah.
and to really do your research, and empower yourself through the education and like even just listening to stories like yours to just know what other people have been through. In terms of dealing with the pain, I know you mentioned like massage and some of those things, but do you have other things that you do, sort of mentally, like things like meditation or other things like that that help you?
Yeah, I do. It's a lot of different little things that I do. I do love yoga. I love that idea of being able to just kind of really focus on balance. Like everything else is like can't even like squeeze anything else in thought process if you can't even get the balance. And
True.
so it eliminates all of the distractions that happen to us or whatever we're going through to finally like hone in and feel a little bit more centered. Um, I do a lot of that. Yeah, a lot of yoga practices, which I love. I I go out to nature. I go on hikes. I get more in touch with something is a little more calming to me. Um, I'm a huge advocate. Like I love water. I always tell people that's one of my like the best exercises you can do. And if you get a chance
Hmm.
to get under the water and just again, you're eliminating all the noise and it's just you. You can just hear your heartbeat, knowing that you're alive and pulsing. It's like that is just that small reminder of like it's gonna be okay. And then all
Yeah,
that
water
weight
is
lifted.
very calming.
Isn't it? And then all that weight's lifted up off of you, and all you get to do is just kind of uh, know your body, how it turns, how it moves, and then you're exercising and getting that strength for you. But movement is key, and then health is key, and then mental health is key. So the mental